Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Wells of Wall Street. We got an update video here on Verasity, that is VRA on the exchange. I can't believe how fast time is flying, especially this year. The last video we did on Verasity was nearly a week ago, if not a bit longer. I can't believe that. Every time I do these videos, I think I've only done them a couple of days ago. But here we are, guys. So I just wanted to cover a couple of top line areas around Veracity's news update. So the first things first is this awesome bit of news here. Notice of publication. Now I'm just being clear from my understanding of patents. One, this may be slightly restricted to the US only, but not always. And two, the notice of publication, I believe, is not meaning it's fully granted. It just means that they're in the process of considering it or completing this at some point, but there is an open opportunity for someone or a business to come in and potentially not take this payment, they have to buy it off Veracity. So it's kind of like Veracity have secured this mechanism of this particular patent for the future proofing, and then maybe in the future they might push for the extra full-on granting. But one thing's for sure is this is a number of many patents that they have completed this year alone. This one I think dates, as you can see, from November 2018. So this has only just recently been into the publication mode. And this is around the system and method for reward video viewing. Now, if you've watched our previous videos, we have been covering quite recently Veracity's esports mechanism. And particularly, I think this is brilliant, the aspect of being able to watch esports live streaming or videos of people playing games in recent times or through tournaments. Of course, esports tournaments, for those that aren't aware, I mean, just go and check some out, whether it be a League of Legends tournament or general big ones that you see in events worldwide. They're like multi-million prize pools. But the great thing about that I love about this VRA Esports player, of course, we know that they have integration partnerships with the likes of Vimeo and YouTube. So I've no doubt in my mind that future-proofing this mechanism of integration. You imagine just watching YouTube, and in my opinion, I actually think going off on a bit of a rabbit hole here, but the actual aspect of like play to earn and view to earn, activity to earn is something we cover a lot in our AI projects. Now, I know many people who live in China and through work and stuff, and they've had for years like social scoring trials and the ability of kind of almost the reason they kind of talk about tokenomics in a couple of aspects in crypto right now is you got the tokenomics in terms of like how is this going to be achievable with pricing and market caps and things like that, but tokenomics as well to me is almost discussing the fact of tokens economy in terms of I feel that we are entering a society or very much in the near future where a lot of people will probably quit their 9 to 5 hour day jobs and go into play to earn, view to earn mechanisms, activity to earn, so actually doing things physically or whatever, or helping people out and getting rewarded for them in tokenomics aspects to then convert to other currencies or use that currency if it's applicable to buy and sell things in the real world, right? So obviously at these kind of stages you're going to need a lot to sort of watch a lot of videos to accumulate enough kind of massive points aspects to obtain rewards. But the mechanism is clear. The more and more people that would jump onto this kind of platform, and especially streamers, gaming, tournaments, all of these things, being able to utilize this, think of the commercial power and the pull of this, not just from the earning mechanism of viewers, but the earning mechanism of people getting the awareness, the streamers, the gamers, the publishers, whatever. It's just going to be a snowball effect in my opinion. But I think like just down the road you can see where this is going. And for years, I mean, I'm a massive gamer as you guys know, and I think way back, I can't remember the name of it. It used to be on Sky One in the UK. I'm sure it had different names across the world, but there was like Games Guru, and I think it might have been simply something like Games Master or something. And it was literally watching people on LAN modes or LAN modes playing each other on PCs and stuff back then. Obviously, there weren't many consoles you could use for that, networking capacities. So it's not a new concept. It's just that it's gone massively mainstream, especially with the use of things like YouTube and Vimeo and the streaming aspects that we've got with like Twitch as well, of course. It's blown up in that sense, and I think this is a phenomenal opportunity. Verasity has a load of other different applications. Let's not deter ourselves too much from that. I'm only focusing on the esports aspect because of what I know about the sector, what is going to achieve over the next 5-10 years, and I'm talking about multi billions of dollars opportunities here. And I think they are absolutely flying, Veracity. I think the patents give some good confidence and ammunition in the back end to show that they're serious, to show their aspirations or for the future, and it's just going to keep continuing. And of course, the other aspects that they do, of course, covering like things like proof of view. And essentially the proof of ownership of NFTs. And I was just reading through some older articles about like this, for example, one of the artists who unfortunately passed away from long-term illness a while back, and that these people, I don't call them thieves, it's whether that's a strong word or not, but I guess it is in the sense of what they were doing, essentially taking this person's art that they've basically published online or whatever, have been taking like screenshots or taking the copy of the image and then creating them into NFTs and selling them. And I think that's a bit crazy, really. I think morally I don't think it's very good. But then you could argue things like Van Gogh and stuff where I'm sure they do, but like you see like some birthday cards or something with Van Gogh paintings on it or something. It's like, well, hang on a minute, have they paid for the rights of this, or have they just gone, let's just copy this and reprint it and make money off selling cards? I don't really see much of a difference there. But what this aspect of Veracity is doing is protecting the NFT algorithm of you making sure that you are actually owning a legitimate piece of artwork, because people, I'm talking about probably proper rich people, will collect very fine art as assets, right? Not necessarily for a rainy day, but it's just to add to their physical portfolio. It's no different to me with my cupboards full of old Nintendo, PlayStation, Sega, Atari consoles and games. Like, they mean something to me. I can't put a value on them because they mean something emotionally and in my memory. And no money in the world I would ever sell any of them. And that sounds a bit random, really, but you kind of like, well, they're just materials. They don't really mean anything, but they do to me. So then the concept of value disappears, and it's similar with NFTs, of course, because if you're taking someone's art, especially if they've passed away, they always have that saying, especially with artists and stuff, like sometimes they don't become famous until they're gone. And that's kind of reflective in this kind of article here. But they were mentioning about massive figures, of course, how much NFTs are worth. But Veracity did put a really interesting kind of post on Twitter the other day about the aspect of not just NFTs, but the principle of fake views and things like that on YouTube, and how many billions of dollars in terms of potential fraudulent activity that could occur from if you didn't have something like Veracity in the background. So for me, like, Veracity is such an awesome project. I only jumped in early this year. I know lots of people got involved in the whitelisting and the IDOs back in, when was it, 2017, 18 or something. And fair play to you guys for seeing the future on this one. But yeah, I'm pleased with the price points I got in at. I guess on that point, actually, we covered most of those points, but let's jump into the chart and we can discuss that a bit more. So I think I was jumping into Veracity maybe just under 1 cent and around that, particularly that 1 cent area earlier in the year. And of course, in that time, we've had some great rises, some great corrections. I think in general, the health of this project is fantastic in terms of looking at it from a price perspective on the chart. And like the whole market in general, we've had similar patterns, and I think it's not massively unique other than the fact of what it does as a project. And when you're doing your research and you're looking into something, a lot of people just jump in because they see price points. But for me, it's actually about the fundamental aspect and the real world mechanism for some of these. And Verasity is no exception. And I think it's a phenomenal project. It's extremely undervalued, but perhaps level with its current status. And what I mean by that is, of course, we've got patents pending left, right, and center. The development of the esports platform is still building. Their proof of view mechanism, the interactions with other platforms, is still building and being integrated. We're a long way off of Veracity being at its full capacity, in my opinion. So, it's very early days. And this price point right now that we're looking at, around 5.6 cents, I think this is a phenomenal DCA opportunity. And what I mean by that is, if you've missed these previous uptakes or in the drops, you always look for possible corrections and opportunities. Now, we hit this buy area that we've drawn before, and look how close we were to dropping into this one here. I think we missed it by like 0.5 cent or something, maybe even less than 0.5 cent. But it gave you the indication that there's areas here of potential opportunity. So for me, I don't get depressed when I see corrections. It's annoying, but I see it as opportunities to accumulate more, especially in projects like this. Do I think it's going to come a bit lower? Potentially, yes. I'm still sticking this area here just in case. I'm very interested in this kind of area on the macro bottom fib retracement level, literally topping just over that 5 cent mark, 5.1, 5.2. But we'll see how that goes, because by the looks of things right now, and I might eat my words here, is we are looking very much like we're trying to stabilize this 5.6, 5.7 cent mark. The few other confirmations we can look at in particular for this is my couple of MACD chart here, which also shown the histogram in regards to over purchasing or overselling. And there's a couple of observations here. We're obviously in the tail end of the sell-off wave. And that's confirmed really between the 12 and 26 EMA chart that I've got here as well. This blue line that you see below, the significant crossover point will obviously, it's very obvious. If it hits the line, both lines touch and it crosses over, then obviously that's indicating that we're potentially moving into a bit of a bullish run. The RSI has dropped to its low point here on the 18th. This is my 14-day RSI, by the way, relative strength index. So this kind of basically averages out the last 14 days in terms of a potential buy opportunity. So for me, 40 personally is a very good area. And we've obviously had a bit of a tail up and a bit of a correction. It's looking like a bit of a dip down again, but probably sticking around that 42, maybe 40 area again. Again, leading to my point that we may drop down slightly more very quickly, in my opinion, because I think we're very much at the end of the sell-off period, because this MACD is narrowing. The gap is narrowing now, and that's an indicator for me personally that with perhaps a few days off, maybe by the end of the week or into early next week, seeing a potential switch over here. So there's even going to be some further consolidation around this current 5.6, 5.7 area. We might have a tiny dip back down, and it will be quite short-lived, I believe, before we take this up to the next levels. And there's lots of factors, of course. There's the variables of things like what the project is doing. I think general market growth and supply and demand mechanism of from an investor's perspective, they're looking at this area now as like, actually we might be able to confirm these new support areas because of the historic data of Veracity in the chart, and we feel more confident to now start buying into this again. And I don't think we're far off that at all. In my opinion. And once we do that, once we confirm this area over the next couple of days, or certainly towards the end of the week, we can start pushing this back up again. We could possibly see some moves like we saw here on the 25th and 26th, but I generally believe, irrespective of that quick jump up and down, we will be tailing this up fairly significantly. I do have big aspirations. I still believe fully that we could get to around that 20 cent mark in this current bull run that's coming up. Again, let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are for Veracity in both end of the year and end of the bull run. But for me, I'm long-term holding. My goal for Verasity right now is to accumulate as much as possible, especially in dips, because in the bear market, yes, of course, I want to try and do some trades towards the end in percentage stage levels on the way up. And also on the way down for accumulation, because I want to get this into staking. Hopefully, come March, they won't reduce the APR or APY too much, or indeed maybe potentially remove it. I hope they keep it, because this will be a phenomenal opportunity over the next couple of years to really hammer some staking opportunities in there for the bigger runs in a few years' time. Assuming that we even do that, guys, because we're in obviously a very big adoptive status now, not just with Verasity, but across a multitude of projects. And the speed at which all these technologies and projects are advancing, you just don't know. These cycles may be a thing of the past now, and we may just be entering some unique way. So that's why it's important about taking profits along the way, adjusting opportunities to accumulate on the way down, and building up that way. That's, in my opinion, not financial advice, one of the best ways to go about your business. Of course, you can have holding strong, but if you're doing that and you're not doing any selling, that's fine as well. Just accumulate on dips and get to a price point you're happy with. But I think for Verasity, there's going to be great opportunities in these coming months, and for sure, as the years go by, especially with the esports aspect and NFTs, two gigantic markets in themselves of billions and billions of dollars worth, this project is going places for sure. So let us know what you think of Verasity in the comments below. That is about it, guys. I think we're looking forward to doing the next VRA video. Hopefully we get one done by the end of the weekend, and hopefully we might see Verasity doing a bit of a switch over by then. But until then, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next Verasity update. Bye bye.